I'm just going to be replacing the seals and the gland of this. I'm not doing the piston rings or anything, just resealing the outside. Usually these come off fairly easy. There we go. To hold the rod, I use a 22 millimeter. It has 2 small notches in it. Okay. Since we're going to be putting the new seals over this, I'm going to clean it up with a wire wheel before we take everything apart. Be careful with these little Allens. They have a tendency to want to break off or round out. Sometimes you grab it with a pair of vice grips. Nice and easy. Usually they're all full of crud too, so it's a good idea to wash up the ram you're working on before you go taking it apart, just to get all the crud out of your way. I went ahead and hit this with the pressure washer before I brought it in the shop. Get the fucker off of there. This outer collar isn't actually attached to the gland. The gland is this brass piece in the center. And this collar on the outside just holds it down. Well, that's lucky. It actually took the gland out with it. Sometimes this brass piece can get really stuck in there and it's hard to get out. So this is the scraper. This is just what scrapes debris off the outside of the rod. This seal on the inside would be a U-cup. You can see it's practically disintegrating. It's very old, that's why it's leaking. And then there's also an O-ring that sits in here. Just gotta find it and dig it out of there. All right. Be careful not to drop anything inside. Blow all that crap out of there. Okay. Now, let's do this in the light so you can see what we're doing. And if you're changing your seals and you're always, you're wondering, man, how do they get these things in there? There's a special tool for it, for collapsing your seals to get them in. I don't know what they're called, but I imagine it'd be pretty difficult to do this job without them. Okay, we'll remove the old seals. Blow this out. Okay, this is the U-cup. It's shaped like a U. The U-cup is what seals the pressurized oil inside. So the open side always faces towards the pressure. There we go. Put that in there. This is the scraper. The sharp edge always goes out. Use a pick to roll it in there. Gently. I left all my picks at the other one. There we go. Okay. That looks good. I'll go ahead and walk this O-ring in there. There we go. Just kind of use the pick to guide it along. Perfect. I'm going to clean up the crud on the bottom of this brass piece. There we go. Get that lined up nicely. Looks like there's some really old Loctite in these holes. I'm just going to scrape that out so it doesn't get in my way. I don't use Loctite on these little screws because they're hard enough to get out, and I've never seen one fall out before. It's always worthwhile to take your time and put these screws in by hand. It's really easy to break them, so just take your time, put them in by hand, nice and easy. Don't use power tools. They don't need to be too tight, just nice and snug. Alright, we're going to clean that with some brake clean. And the clevis here as well. We want that not to be oily. On this, we are going to use a little drop of Loctite because I've seen these clevises come unscrewed quite a bit, and then it'll make your stroke too long when it shifts the S-tube over. It'll shift too far to one side, and I do see that fairly commonly. So I always put a little drop of Loctite on these to hold them in place. Whenever you use Loctite, be nice to the next guy. Don't use too much. And instead of putting it at the top of the thread so it gets all the way in there, just put a little drop at the bottom. That's all you need. That's a little big drop there, but still. Also, when you tighten these down, they go all the way. You bottom them out all the way. That's where they're supposed to be. Just give it a little snugging. And there we go. All done.